For millions of people, pilgrimage is a religious and spiritual journey that can help answer some of life's difficult questions. Now, 7 well-known personalities with differing beliefs are heading out on a quest of self-discovery.
You sure this is the right direction?
Where are we going?
On a journey.
A journey into faith.
Amongst them, a pagan.
I'm happy to be sitting on this chance system of organic accidents that creates existence. I'm happy for there not to be a God.
A self-conscious Christian.
There's this stigma attached to it. Whenever I would tell my friends, they'd laugh and I'd be like, why is that funny?
And a practicing Muslim.
I hope that going on this pilgrimage elevates me to a higher level of being myself. May the force be with you!
They're searching out Saint Columba, an Irish monk born 1500 years ago, a key figure in early British Christianity, who helped spread the faith from Ireland to Scotland.
Let the spirit of Saint Columba be with us.
And they'll finish at the site of his revered monastery on the island of Iona. Over 15 days, they'll live as modern-day pilgrims.
This feels like walking 10 miles in stilettos.
Welcome to Pilgrimage Towers.
Oh, there's no electricity here. Yes, these are beds.
So comfortable.
They'll be tested physically.
This is grim.
Yeah.
This is a low point.
That was tough, I've got to tell you.
And challenged emotionally.
Here, there's no escape from oneself.
I didn't think I would get upset over it.
That was why I wanted so much to do this journey.
They'll discover how faith knows no boundaries.
I've never been to a monastery in my life.
Is that good?
It's lovely.
Could you do the same to me?
So may Almighty God guide you on your path.
But will they find answers to their own questions?
I'm a soul for hire, a soul for sale.
I do feel like my brain's changed since going on this pilgrimage.
I've spent a lot of my life hiding being Jewish, and actually I'm really proud of it.
Last time, pilgrim comforts were scarce for former England cricketer Monty and interior designer Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen.
Saint Columba did not do this.
Actor Louisa and table tennis champion Will Bailey embraced their faiths.
When he just came out with that prayer, like out of the blue, it hit me like a train.
TV personality Nick Hewer and social influencer Scarlett had eyes on the devil.
You see, I'm going to hell. You're either in or you're out.
And comedian Shazia diced with danger.
I'm alive.
That's the main thing.
I'm alive.
It's nice to see the sun today, isn't it?
It is, actually.
Oh, that's what that thing is.
This is perfect.
Could be worse.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I came through like a drowned rat.
Yeah, you got a spring in your step today, haven't you?
On their journey, the pilgrims are travelling over 1,600 kilometres on foot, as well as by bus and boat, searching out the footsteps and legacy of Saint Columba. They're following a number of ancient paths and heritage trails, and today they're on the Darver Way, heading to an area in Moray on the edge of the Scottish Highlands.
Will, wait for us.
I am.
How come you pace ahead?
He's battery operated.
Get it done as quickly as possible.
You just want to get it done?
It's a region that in Columba's day was inhabited by pagan Picts. The efforts of Columba and monks like him to spread the word of Christ eventually prevailed, and by the Middle Ages the whole of Scotland was a Christian country. The pilgrims are keen to experience how some current-day monks live their lives.
You know this monastery that we're staying in tonight? Apparently, all they've seen is kind of visitors and people that pass by, which is not a large number.
Right.
I want to see how they are, how they interact, and how will they respond when they see us.
These monks that are almost hermits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Surely it becomes quite, and I mean this in the literal sense of the word, like self-centered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Surely it is about getting the word of God out there and teaching and inspiring.
Yeah.
There are certain orders that feel that the best thing that anyone can do for humanity is shut yourself away and pray for humanity. Their argument would be that making the world a more comfortable place is totally irrelevant because actually it's all about the afterlife.
That's a major difference between many religions. Which is the most important life? This one now or the next one? Does the Muslim faith believe in the next life?
Oh, God. It's all about the afterlife. It's like this life. This life is a test, that's what they say. And if you pass this test, you will go into the afterlife, whether you will have eternal life. And when you see Muslims doing stupid things, saying they want to get to heaven quicker, you don't get to the afterlife by doing bad things.
No.
They've got that interpretation
But
wrong.
Islam is a very, very beautiful religion, very poetic.
The one thing you could say about it is that it is a very peaceful religion.
Yeah.
And that's confusing to people because everything they see on TV is the antithesis of that.
The interesting thing is the afterlife isn't a big thing in Judaism.
No, it's not. It's all about living for now and being good in this life and being kind in this life.
But do you believe in the afterlife?
That's quite a big question, isn't it? Do I believe in the afterlife?
It's really good when people of other faiths ask you questions that you probably haven't even thought about yourself.
Exactly.
Because in real life, I probably wouldn't get, Lawrence, you asking me things about...
No, we don't talk about it.
About Islam.
Which is terrible.
Because people are often scared to
frightened
ask.
of it.
From the county of Donegal, over 8 days, the pilgrims have travelled from Ireland into Northern Ireland and then crossed to Western Scotland, where they picked up Columba's trail through the Highlands to Loch Ness. From there, they're travelling northeast before exploring the Outer Hebrides and then heading back south to the site of Columba's famous monastic settlement on the Inner Hebridean island of Iona. Tonight, the pilgrims will be staying in Britain's only working medieval monastery, founded in 1230, Pluscarden Abbey.
Here we go, look.
Pluscarden Abbey. In loco isto dabo passem. In this place I will give peace.
I'm really excited. I've never been to a monastery in my life. And actually, I don't think I've even seen a real-life monk. I've seen it in the movies, but not in real life.
Seen it in Robin Hood.
My God, it looks like Hogwarts.
It is absolutely beautiful.
The monastery is run by the Benedictine order, which is known for its hospitality and offers retreats for people of all faiths and none. It also welcomes passing pilgrims.
Do you think they're excited to see us?
Yeah. Obviously, they love changing rooms.
I bet they're big on Emmerdale.
Big on Emmerdale.
Massive on Emmerdale.
Hello.
Hello, this is Brother
Nick.
Michael and Father Giles.
The only Catholic here.
Right, all
I
right.
brought 6 other pilgrims for you.
All right, well, that's very good. Come
This
on.
is a wonderful, wonderful experience
No,
for
no,
us.
well, welcome.
To come to a working monastery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
What a hall you've got here.
we're guests here too, because it's God's house, not ours. And you have now reached the northernmost Benedictine Abbey in the world.
Oh.
That's what these are for. They're white. When the polar bears come, you know, you can hide. We're like Pavlov's dogs. The bell rings, we either salivate or pray.
Pluscarden is home to 16 monks who spend their lives in prayer, study, and physical work around the abbey. Guests make voluntary donations, but sharing the daily chores is considered an essential part of monastic life. Before the pilgrims are allocated their tasks, Brother Michael takes the men to their rooms.
So this is the guest house? The rooms are on the first floor. They're all more or less the same.
Look at this. Wow.
It's nice. Little sink, got a wardrobe. I'm happy with this. Got a little bed. Perfect.
Father Giles shows the women pilgrims their own self-contained accommodation.
Right. All the rooms have got names of various saints on them.
I'll be Hilda tonight.
You be Hilda.
You be Monica.
Right.
I'm Catherine.
Right.
That suits you.
Make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, it's like being back at university.
There's a Holy Bible, Psalms. It's very basic. But then it is a monastery. What did I expect? That's my mum's lampshade and my mum's bed linen. Mum's curtains. Yeah, I think I might be having nightmares tonight.
The pilgrims split into two groups. Monty, Nick, Louisa and Will volunteer to harvest the Abbey's fruit.
So we're allowed to just go for it, pick away?
What you definitely don't want to do is pull off the spur on which they're growing.
Okay.
Because the spur will produce more fruit. Hey, look at that.
Hey.
It's just... Look, you can see, oh, wow. You can polish it on that.
Well, let's see, yeah.
It's very peaceful. Feels very calm.
I'm not sure how these contraptions work.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's all right. Go on then. Plenty of space. There we go.
Oh, oh, look at that.
Well, I've certainly won that apple picking competition.
Okay, sing for your supper, come and do some work.
Follow the women, of course.
Father Giles supervises the pilgrims who've opted for kitchen duty.
Wow.
Now,
I wonder what we're having.
spuds. Who wants to cut potatoes
I'll cut them in half.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. This skilled man here, you can do something useful instead of making rude comments about the ladies.
You tell him, Father. You tell him.
Yes, guys.
So what we do
Oh,
Father
where's
Giles.
Father been all week?
is you put a little oil in the middle of the tin.
Yes. And we
And you spread
it all out.
Spread it around in each one of them.
Lovely.
Right. Now,
Father,
yes.
you know, as a monk, you had your calling.
Yeah.
You have to make sacrifices. You're celibate. That's part of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Do you ever regret being a monk?
No, I have never regretted it. Now, that's not to say I haven't found times when it's been difficult. Everybody has ups and downs.
Can you talk to women? Have
Oh, heavens, yes.
friendships
as far
with
as
women?
I'm aware, you're a woman.
But can you have female friendships?
Of course. If you can't love people, then you're not a human being.
Have you ever been in love with a woman?
Well, I've been very fortunate in being loved and loving lots of people, men and women, and married and unmarried, and all the rest. Yeah, I mean, you're supposed it's the second commandment to love your neighbour as yourself.
Have you ever thought about going on Instagram? You know, to try and reach more people?
No, I'm afraid an awful lot of that stuff's very superficial.
Nothing.
Outside in the gardens,
Well, you want it that high?
77-year-old Nick is going for the high fruit.
No, this is wrong. I'll show you how it's done.
We have orchards.
It's all right. It's all right.
What are you doing, Nick? Nick!
All right. No.
That's it.
Oy, oy, oy.
Nick, I reckon you should come off.
Actually, they're overripe, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
The softer they are, the better, believe me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is terrifying.
So tell us more about the life of a monk.
Well, it's kind of humdrum.
Yeah.
So if you like every day to be different and the unexpected just round the corner, you'll be severely disappointed here.
Yeah.
But there's a comfort in knowing what comes next.
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, I guess it's not unknown for people to enter monasteries because they like a predictable life.
Yeah.
Do people come in and then leave again because they realise it's not quite
most
for
of
them?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So most people leave in the first 6 months.
How long have you been a monk?
I entered in 1982. I did finals that year and I came the next day.
Do you want more? Or have we got
Well,
enough?
maybe you've got enough.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Eight services are celebrated at the Abbey every day. They're at the core of the monks' daily lives. Almost every service is held in Latin, the common language of the Roman Catholic Church, using Gregorian chants, which originated in the Middle Ages. The pilgrims are invited to attend Vespers, the evening service.
I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I thought it was so movingly spiritual, really, really meditative. That was absolutely why I wanted so much to do this journey. That was exactly what I was hoping to experience.
That service really was the first time that I'd been sort of moved on this pilgrimage. It was in Latin. For me, that's what I was sort of used to in a way when I was a boy. And Latin just gave it the sort of majesty and the dignity that I admire so much, really.
It was just quite repetitive music. It was almost like I was going to fall asleep at some points, you know. I felt disappointed because there was no messages either. Like, if there was maybe prayers or something in between, it could have, like, maybe, you know, touched me in some way, if that makes sense. But I didn't get any of it, to be honest.
After Vespers and over their baked potatoes, the pilgrims discuss whether to go to any of the other services.
There's a service in the morning that's not in Latin, so it's in English.
Oh, wow.
So if anyone wants to go to that, so we've experienced the Latin one and then we can know what was being said, then...
There's also a service at 4:50 in the morning, and I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Should we do it?
Lawrence, are you going there for?
No, because I had such a perfect experience today. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to risk there being another experience that didn't actually work in the same way.
Quite right. I enjoyed today enormously. It takes me back to the old days. That's a proper, dignified, majestic service.
Do you feel like it's better being in Latin than in English?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
You don't have great operas aren't in English.
Yeah.
Who wants to understand
In
it?
a way, you don't need to understand it. It's just the feeling you get from it.
Exactly.
I sort of got like lost a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when it was happening, I love going to a service where I feel like I understand what's being said and sort of try and put it into what's happening in my life and whether I can take anything from it.
Yeah, yeah, because the words mean a lot to me.
I fell asleep halfway through it.
You
Why
were
are you in that
in a
state?
liminal state.
Yeah.
It's a meditation.
hypnotic.
It is a meditation.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure whether it has the same power when it is in English. You know, there was a barrier
So
there.
are you saying in
because it's-
English it's going to be less powerful?
Well, you engage your intellectual
Well, I
brain
feel like
there.
it's up to the person, isn't it? Nobody can say it's more powerful being in Latin because that isn't what church is about and that isn't what religion and faith is about. It's individual to that person. And obviously, I didn't go to a fancy school. I can't speak Latin, but I can speak a little bit of English.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, well, none of us are following it in Latin.
No, I just don't get why there's like such a, like it's better that it's like this
No,
and
no,
it's
no,
purer and that's.
No one's saying that. No, it's
I did hear that.
No, but it's, you know, Nick finds it purer for him.
I think Nick was brought up with it all in Latin, so for him, that is how he
Oh, no, I don't
sees
think it was Nick that. I think it was Lawrence's comment of that it's more intellectual when something's Latin. That sometimes I think me and Will find that really condescending because, you know, just because we didn't go to a posh school, it doesn't mean that we don't have faith or we don't understand things. It just means that we feel things a little bit different.
That's absolutely not what I said. I said, no, wait.
No, but I think...
Monty, please.
Right.
What I said was, when you hear it and you can understand it, you engage your intellect. I didn't say it's more intellectual. I think it's absolutely all about everyone doing it their own way, for sure, and not judging other people's way of doing it.
Listen, I'm Muslim and I was terribly moved by
it
that.
Was amazing.
But seriously, we're not, you know, I'm not saying that there is a better way or a non-better way.
No, but I was trying to defend
Don't forget, you are both Anglicans. And this was a Catholic service, and Anglicanism is in English. That's the whole point of it.
I'm just surprised by your reaction.
No, but listen.
I'm surprised you're not at all backing down. You're not at all. I accept your opinion. I'm just surprised you're not just a little bit understanding.
We're arguing over a little bit of language, which is unfortunately something that always happens with religion.
Yeah.
You know, there are a couple of words that you know didn't land as far as the room went, and I apologise deeply for that, because actually
very much appreciated.
You know, I am absolutely here to support everybody's religion, and there's no judgment attached to it.
Everybody's got to fight their own corner.
They do.
To the best of their ability.
I feel like we need to have a little toast before we go to bed, just so that we're all right together. Cheers.
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 Cheers, guys.
You should be here earlier.
Oh, this is our first heated debate.
We're
a proper family now. We've got a proper argument.
I can't wait for you to come to the mosque.
It's looking good.
It's looking good, isn't it? I'm glad it happened.
As the sun starts to rise, so do the pilgrims.
I had a very pleasant night. I had my window open. I could hear the soft and gentle rain. It was a bit like waking up in a hymn. There is just a sort of a miasma of peace and tranquility and gentleness, slightly compromised by last night's supper.
Last night was the first time that there were slight confrontations. People are getting tired. I certainly know that I can't go for 2 weeks with the same bunch of people and not get annoyed by someone. So it's totally natural.
I mean, for goodness sake, you know, pilgrimages were always like that. Have you not read the Canterbury Tales? You know, this is what it was all about. There's a lot of mead going on, and in the evenings they might have a little bit of a brawl in the inn.
Scarlett, would you like some coffee?
Gives me heart palpitations. Is there any apple juice?
Will, do you have milk in your coffee?
Yes, please. Oh, thanks so much. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you all slept well.
Good morning.
I can see
very
you
well.
breakfasted well, which is a very good sign. You've got a long way to go. Now, there are two routes you can follow out of the Abbey. One is level and smooth and straightforward, and the other is slightly more challenging, uphill. Both are pilgrim roads, so appropriate for you.
Which one's the path of righteousness?
Oh, it's a difficult one, uphill.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a nice walk. You might meet some dog walkers, fellow pilgrims.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us, and you've had such a wonderful time. Thank you.
Oh, when the sun shines, it makes all the difference.
The pilgrims are heading for the nearby ancient town of Forres.
We plough the fields and scatter the good seed on the land.
They need to decide which route to take.
We've come to a crossroads, haven't we?
Yeah.
There needs to be a decision.
Which way to go?
Primrose path of pleasure or path of righteousness?
I'm for pleasure. What about you?
I'm for pleasure.
We're for pleasure.
We're for pain.
That way lies pain. Go on, Will.
Let's do
Go with
it.
the hard one.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
See you at the other end.
See you in heaven.
Enjoy your path of righteousness.
Yeah.
Lead on, Macduff.
Nick and Scarlett amble off on their gentle path.
For me, though, I just thought, why would you do the harder route when there's a simpler route?
God, this is glorious, isn't
This is really nice.
While the rest of the pilgrims suffer.
No way.
Come on, guys. Just follow the leader.
Well, I'm not doing that.
No.
Not a chance.
I have nothing to prove. I'm just pleased to be alive at 57 and still able to walk.
Not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Oh my God, I can't breathe.
Yeah. The competitive sportsmen have really stormed ahead now, haven't they?
We should have taken the flat one.
I'm sure we'll get there.
The town of Forres is in an area once inhabited by pagan Picts and dates back to around 900 AD. When the pilgrims arrive, the group splits, and as Scarlett, Will, Shazia and Louisa explore the town, they come across a stone which marks a more recent time in history.
This looks interesting. The Witch's Stone.
It's thought about 4,000 so-called witches were accused, convicted, and often executed in Scotland between the 15th and 18th centuries.
From Cluny Hill, witches were rolled in stout barrels through which spikes were driven. Where the barrels stopped, they were burned with their mangled contents. Oh, this stone marks the site of one such burning.
That is horrific.
This is brutal when you read it.
It doesn't even feel real. Like, I can't imagine there being a time to be tortured like that.
And that people have left little things.
And like all the little crystals.
Do you know, it's really interesting, in the Jewish religion, when you go to a grave, you leave a stone.
In Islam, women can't go to graves. Women are considered to be not clean because we menstruate and stuff.
In so many religions, women are secondary citizens. I remember you saying that's one thing you love about the church, is that men and women
sit together,
always sit together,
yeah. Like, I struggle to like understand why we can't all just be equal.
What sort of things did these women do to make them witches?
They were just women.
And I think a lot of witches were just outsiders, weren't they? Sometimes they didn't really do anything. It was just people would accuse them.
Yeah, it was a way of silencing them to get rid of them. Special sisters, sadly missed along life's way, quietly remembered every day.
These flowers are fresh. People are coming daily or weekly.
Somebody remembers these women.
Should we go into Forres?
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go.
When shall we three meet again?
I love that scene.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nick, Lawrence and Monty head towards the outskirts of Forres to find Sueno's stone. It's thought to be a Christian Pictish monument carved between the 9th and 10th centuries, at least 3 centuries after Columba came to Scotland spreading the faith.
That's a very old stone stuck in a glass lift shaft.
Wow.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
Absolutely
amazing. 9th century.
So quite a bit later than Columba.
One of the faces apparently scene of a battle with lots of cavalry, which is interesting, foot soldiers, and beheadings of the defeated.
It's very difficult to make out now, but I mean, I suppose this must be the battle scene at the front here.
Yeah.
The more you look at it, the more you can see figures, spears. Let's have a look round the back.
Yeah.
There's some suggestion that it's when the Scots actually beat the Picts.
They've got the cross here, haven't they? So did the Picts then convert to Christianity?
Well,
Believed in it?
Yeah, Columba did a great job.
So do you think St. Columba forced people to convert to Christianity?
No, only through persuasion.
I think he persuaded, and don't forget that, you know, the idea of kind of like cut and dried conversion, that suddenly Columba turns up and everybody's Christian, that just didn't happen.
But here we are in the north. It's taken a long time for Columba to get here.
Yeah.
But clearly it was working because somebody got a huge piece of stone and started chipping away at it.
Yeah.
So he was succeeding.
In terms of our pilgrimage, this is great because this is archaeological evidence that Columba, the guy we're following, our team leader, worked. Columba did the job. Columba did indeed convert the Picts to become Christians.
I think it's reasonable to suggest that Christianity is a wonderful religion, and to convert the Picts to Christianity was a particularly worthwhile thing. In today's world, I sometimes wonder whether we shouldn't leave people well alone to pursue their own beliefs and traditions and culture. So I've got mixed feelings. Quite something.
It is.
It's a poster.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes, it
poster
is.
saying,
Yes.
you know, we've arrived, come and see us on Sunday,
Yes.
Mass at 7 o'clock. Shall we go?
Yeah.
From Forres, the pilgrims will travel west, across the Highlands, to catch a ferry to the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides.
It's very cold today.
Isn't it?
I think today's the coldest day.
I very wisely covered myself in a thick layer of goose fat.
Have you?
It's what we Celts do.
Ahead of them is a 2.5-hour journey.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
The Outer Hebrides are home to a number of pre-Christian religious sites, including the megalithic Callanish stones, which are older than Stonehenge. It wasn't until the Middle Ages that Christianity finally reached here, and it still plays an important part in everyday life.
Welcome to Stornoway.
In 2018, the quiet town of Stornoway and its population of around 7,000 welcomed the opening of Great Britain's northernmost mosque. A practicing Muslim, Shazia wants to take the opportunity to pray and invites Louisa and Nick to go with her.
Well, here it is. It's the crescent and the star.
Which is also the flag of Pakistan.
What's masjid?
Masjid means mosque in Arabic.
Okay.
We'll cover our heads.
Can you do mine for me?
We'll cover our heads. And we will have to take our shoes off.
Okay.
Yeah. Nick, you're going to go into the men's section and you leave your shoes there.
Well, it's not how I imagined it.
No, it looks like a very small mosque for probably a very small community.
Would anybody who is travelling through, any Muslim person travelling through, they could come here, they'd know about it and they'd be able to come here?
Absolutely, and also any non-Muslim. You'd be most welcome if you wanted to just come in, have a look, see a service, sit at the back and listen. You'd also be most welcome to do that. You have to wash before you go in. Take your socks off. Wash your feet? Yes. We'll wash in order. Wash your face.
Now what?
Yep. Then your arms up to the elbow.
Oh, it's quite nice and warm.
I know. Just on your head and behind your ears.
Done.
And then your feet. Left and then right. Hot water.
Bit of a deal, isn't it?
उर्दू बोलते हैं? जी जी बोलते हैं। आपके पास टोपी है इसके लिए?
ज़रूरत नहीं है लेकिन अगर इसको चाहिए तो दे दो।
हाँ, he's going to get you a little hat to wear.
Okay.
Do you speak fluent Urdu?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very sweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
आपने join किया?
Is that good?
That's very
It's
good.
lovely. God, Nick, you look really good.
We're just about to pray Zuhr prayer, which is a midday prayer. So you can join us. Ladies can stay behind us, and we want to join us with a few brothers. So thank you.
Thank you.
You go with him. And you come with me.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
That's the end of the prayer. Elaichi ke saath. They're going to make you Pakistani tea.
The first Muslim family from Pakistan arrived on the island in the 1950s. More recently, Syrian refugees have moved here, but the community is still small, around 15 families.
Thank you. You could, I suppose, say this building centralises the community and gives you a sort of a focus and a strength and something to build.
It definitely does. I came over in '93. We did not have a place like a mosque. I mean, we did meet in people's houses and so on kind of thing, but the moment the mosque was built, more and more people came together.
Because the community is small and they know each other well, the women, more often than not, pray in the same space as the men.
I'm very pleased to come here and see how welcoming you are to women, how open you are to women. I've never prayed in a mosque behind a man. Normally I'm in a separate room, and I just found that very progressive of you.
I would say that, you know, most mosques in Britain are facing the challenges, the role of women. So mosque trustees has to address that in a manner which Islam will empower you. We're not there to dictate you.
Do you feel safe as a small Muslim community in a very predominantly white Christian area?
Actually, this is a very special case. This area is probably the most harmonious as a community, and it can actually teach the rest of Britain. The only time there's conflict is when one tries to impose their ideology on another community. And that never happened here. So that also helped cement a bond between the communities.
Yeah. There was a person died here just not long ago. There was only 20 or 25 Muslim, that's what the community is, but there was 1,000 people.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was a very rainy day that day, but there was a queue from the mosque to the harbour, 1,000 people. And that's how well they're integrated, actually.
We're on this pilgrimage, St. Columba's pilgrimage,
yeah.
And part of what he did was try to convert people through his teachings and followers. And people keep asking me, in Islam, you always want to convert people, don't you? But actually, we don't go out to convert people, do we?
I don't think the concept of going out to preach exists. I mean, the whole concept of Islam was how you lived your life. You know, it showed, you know, how you treated other people, showed how good it was through your actions, your character. That's what Islam was all about.
Thank you so much for your generosity and for opening up your mosque for us. It's
And
really
for letting
great.
us women pray behind you.
It was very funny that Shazia didn't crack any jokes. She's a very well-known comedian in the Asian community.
But every time I speak on TV, my life is at risk. So I didn't want to crack any jokes in the wrong circumstances. And I wanted us to have a positive experience of Islam. Thank you for making us feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I really like the way that the communities are combined here. Two different religions living happily together, and that's, you know, that's an inspiration.
That's just a really nice, friendly community of Muslims.
Yeah.
Nick Ahmed Mohammed Hua, how do you think you're faring in Islam? Do you think that you could have a foot in it somewhere?
As it happens.
I think you've passed the test.
As it happens. I'm still thinking.
Come on then, let's go. We need to find the others.
Reunited, the pilgrims set out for the other side of the island to find one of Scotland's most significant pagan sites. Scarlett and Will find themselves sharing thoughts about their struggles with faith.
What do you feel like is the most important value when we talk about Christian values or any religious values?
That's a really tough one. What about you?
Mine's forgiveness.
Forgiveness?
Yeah, because I think, like, otherwise you're just angry for all your life, and it's just easier to forgive because then you're not walking around with a big chip on your shoulder. And
I'm rubbish at that. If someone does something bad to me or something like that, that can hurt me for a long time. Even here, like, I've noticed that even if someone hasn't tried to upset me, it will stay with me. And I kind of had that in my head for like a day or something.
Really?
Like when I grew up, I remember, for example, going to school, having no hair, coming in with a hat on and someone taking it off and chucking it around the classroom. That's lived with me for the whole of my life, and I've been, would you say, bitter about it? It creates an anger inside sometimes, doesn't it? And you think you want to give it to the world because that anger's there. Does that make sense? And,
yeah,
and
it
that,
does make sense.
and
Sometimes you just have to forgive. And you will get there, it just takes a little bit of time, that's all.
oh no, we'll get there. One day.
Calais sounds like a sauce, doesn't it?
What language is that then?
It's Hebridean.
The pilgrims arrive at the ancient and mysterious Callanish stones.
Wow. So these date back 5,000 years?
Really?
That's the time of the pharaohs.
No.
Oh, is it?
And the pharaohs did a much better job than these lads.
In 1857, a landowner found the tips of a few of the stones and decided to excavate. Wow, imagine like discovering this. This is older than Stonehenge.
Yes.
These stones represent a time before Christianity in Britain, when people would worship the earth and the skies, taking part in rituals around the harvest and the equinox.
Oh.
One bit of local law says that these stones are petrified giants turned into stone for refusing to convert to Christianity.
It's a bit severe that this is the punishment for people who didn't believe in Christianity, is that they turn to stone.
Turn them to stone.
It's rather a beautiful stone.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And the fact that we don't quite know what they're about makes it more kind of mysterious.
The best guess is that the stones were used as some sort of astronomical observatory.
This feels very powerful, the way you've got these rocks
Yeah.
either side of you. It's like you're walking between guards, it's like you're walking up an aisle into a church.
When you look around, it is beautiful.
It is.
They are canny rocks, like, aren't they?
They are canny rocks.
Yeah.
And actually, there's no right or wrong here. So actually, you can make up your own religion here.
Yeah.
You know, we're not being led by a priest, we're not being led by a belief system. There are no stories here.
Yeah, I agree with
It's just our own stories, you know. Did Columba come to Callanish? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, obviously, he will have seen things like this. I mean, for goodness sake, he grew up in Ireland, surrounded by things like this. Did he see them as difficult, dangerous, diabolical spaces that he needed to squash for the sake of Christianity, or was he more subtle than that?
When I look at them, I don't feel anything. Whereas when I look at the Kaaba, the black stone in Mecca, I do feel something. I think with any stone or any place of pilgrimage, it's not what it is, it's the faith you have in it.
The pilgrims leave the Outer Hebrides, heading back to the Scottish mainland. Over the next 2 days, they'll travel south through the Highlands before crossing to the Inner Hebrides and their final destination, Iona. In the Highlands, they pass through Glen Nevis, a glaciated valley bordered by the Moray mountain range, and Ben Nevis, the highest peak in the UK.
Oh my God, we've got a bit of landscape. Enjoy it quickly. Somewhere over there is probably Ben Nevis.
Whoa, the wind.
Ooh, it's windy. I feel like every time we set off for a walk, it starts raining 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Relentlessly.
I think it's Columba trying to ensure that we get the authentic Columba pilgrim experience.
We're covered in bin liners, waterproofs, and we're still wet. I mean, how is that?
Smell a little bit like mushroom.
How is that possible?
You look like a collection of dog poo bags.
I have really enjoyed every religion here. And I think if you're going to be tolerant to other people's religions, you have to embrace it and experience it yourself. And that's helped me, actually, understanding other religions.
Generally, when people are intolerant of other people's religions, it's because they've never experienced it, so they have no idea.
You can't learn any better than from each other.
Yeah. About my faith, I feel the same as I did when I started. And I don't really care what people practice or what they don't practice. Everybody should have the freedom to believe what they want. We are all trying to get to the same destination, which is the truth.
I feel like I've achieved what I've come here to do.
Have you? What was that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really know what me religion was to write it on a form.
Yeah.
Like I believe in God.
Yeah.
When I go to church, it'll be a Church of England.
Yeah.
But that's really good.
That's good. I have learned that I don't really like walking.
This much.
Yeah.
Let's keep marching.
To reach Iona, the pilgrims have to leave the mainland and travel to the Isle of Mull in the Inner Hebrides, just off the west coast of Scotland.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Caledonian McBride vessel.
Always looks cool.
He always
doesn't
looks dead dapper,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Like he looks like he owns the ferry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
We close in on a wonderful experience.
Incredible, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Even the arguments have been fun.
Yeah.
In a way.
The pilgrims are heading for the southwest tip of Mull, bringing them ever closer to the end point of their journey, Columba's Island.
This is an amazing walk, I have
Oh,
to
it's
say.
amazing. Stunning.
And the water is so completely
Yeah.
calm. It's so still and peaceful. Are you
Really
excited
peaceful.
to go home?
So excited. I've loved every second of it. Like even though it's been challenging, sometimes I don't know where I stand with faith, and that confuses me a
Yeah.
little bit, and like
You know
it makes me doubt myself.
Really?
Sometimes I want to have a real faith, and actually I do have more of a faith after this, because I never thought that prayer would mean so much to me. You know, to be honest, that's one thing that's really stood out. Having it touch me emotionally, I never thought that was possible. So I think that's why I'll take prayer, and I think I'll use it, in the future. I think the way that you talk about your faith and your family and the way you do things, I feel the love from it probably more than anyone else.
I'm still struggling with the concept of God and whether I believe and what I actually believe.
Yeah.
Columba left Ireland for Scotland by boat with his 12 followers in 562 AD. The following year, he would have journeyed by sea through these Inner Hebridean islands to reach Iona, where he started to build his monastic settlement.
Now, if you were St. Columba, wandering up here as a man of faith, well, perfect, isn't it? For a man not of faith, it's quite a spiritual place. You don't have to be religious about it, just the wonder of nature. And it can only lead to a sort of contentment with it. And who knows, what might come of that. So I've been reunited with nature, which God created. There you are. You can have that. When we started out on this pilgrimage, I said that I've got a soul here, it's a bit homeless, looking for a home. I think the search continues, basically. And I think that it will always continue. Your soul's not going to find a home through persuasion or kneeling on the top of a mountain for 6 months without eating. It's something different. It arrives. Trouble is, there's not much time left, As I stand here, I'm not bothered. But come the day, I'll be bothered if I haven't discovered genuinely some faith in something.
The pilgrims approach the village of Bonnesan, their final overnight stop.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Monty, look how romantic. Oh, my goodness me. And look at the view. Oh, Monty, I think we'll be terribly happy here. Imagine. Oh, it's all I dreamed of and more from married life to you.
So lovely.
Okay.
Look at this.
Oh, this is nice.
Oh, this is nice, this. This is canny.
Wow. Last night.
Last night.
Oh, nearly made it.
After you.
Is anyone else feeling a bit nostalgic now about going? We've got so sort of institutionalised into a routine of walking and eating and funny little rooms and each other and not having to think about real life.
I don't want to walk anywhere ever again. I don't.
Tomorrow's Iona, so are you looking forward to the trip?
Well, yes, it's very much the grand finale. It's when the whole story reaches its climax. It's when we get the punchline, finally.
And what's
so
the
the
punchline?
joke about the Sikh, the Jew, the Muslim, the atheist, the lapsed Catholic and the whatever I am, all coming together and, you know, hanging out on Iona. In a way, we get to finally meet Columba.
Yeah.
Tonight is their last chance to sit down together, to celebrate their pilgrimage and what they've shared.
I wasn't expecting to have like a proper laugh as much as we had. And like, I'd like to think that even though St. Columba was on a mission to spread Christianity, he did it with his friends. And I'd like to think that maybe he wasn't doing it with a rioja in hand, but that he had a good time.
I'm sure that Columba, on the verge of just getting to Iona, finally, he and his fellows would have sat down and had a horn of mead.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but we have a very early start tomorrow. The culmination of this whole pilgrimage.
Should we cheers Columba?
Yeah.
Cheers, Columba.
To Columba.
To Columba here.
Cheers for letting us follow in your footsteps.
Thank you. Cheers, St. Columba.
Cheers.
It's 5 a.m. and the pilgrims have a long day ahead.
Only owls should be awake at this time.
Last day. Can't believe it.
Local boatmen will take the pilgrims across to Iona, the final leg of their 1,600-kilometre journey in search of Columba.
Morning. There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. Welcome.
Hi.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Oh, thank God there's someone for us to sunbathe.
This is our destination.
Iona's the final destination, isn't it?
A tiny island, Iona is about 5 kilometres long and 2.5 kilometres wide.
I've never been anywhere where there's only about like 140 people living on the island. That's tiny, isn't it?
They must know each other very well.
Yeah, you'd have to get on with everyone. I bet
You
you know
would.
everyone knows everyone's business.
It's here Columba arrived as a pilgrim for Christ in 563 AD, and where he was buried some 3 decades later.
Thank you.
Cute little island.
This is cute.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Today, some call Iona a holy isle, and around 130,000 people, many of them pilgrims, visit every year.
To the Abbey and Nunnery.
I can't believe we're actually here, though. We made it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Is that the building right there?
Yeah.
I think throughout the trip, there were times which reminded me, how strong my faith is to, Sikhism.
I've realised on this journey that I'm able to talk about my faith openly.
It's nice to talk to people who don't know anything about your life, and you can just talk to them. You know they're not going to judge you. That's what I've really enjoyed.
Founded in the 13th century, the abbey now standing was built over the remains of Columba's 6th century monastery. But it was Columba and his legacy that made Iona an island famed for its scholarship and culture. His monastery and other Columban foundations became hugely important centres of learning in the British Isles and parts of Europe, for literature, art, and mathematics as well as religion.
Iona's been ever present, really. You know, from one's school days. So I'm delighted to be here.
This is where it all started, but for us it's ending here.
It is the punctuation point at the end of our journey. It is the moment where we have arrived. It is the pin. It has dropped. This is Iona, and that is where Columba was laid to rest.
Columba died in the last decade of the 6th century, and it's most likely he was buried here and lies underneath this small shrine built over the foundations of his monastery.
I'm not religious, and I'm still not going to be religious. I'm so happy to just enjoy all of this. Why would you not? You know, this is such a beautiful experience. I'm happy for it to be a mechanical universe, but I'm not saying that I'm right. And I think that this was the whole point of the 7 of us. We've all got our own skewed personal idea of what we believe in, and that's how it should be.
Thank you. Thank you, Columba. And in a way, this experience has brought my Jewish faith into a far larger perspective. It's made me excited to come home and embrace my Jewishness. I think I've spent a lot of my life hiding being Jewish. And actually I'm really proud of it.
Before they leave the island, the group heads off to Dooney, the hill of Iona, for one last walk together to celebrate the end of their pilgrimage.
Done it. This is it.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe that it's done. You know, it's such an amazing feeling of achievement.
Yay! Will's on top of the world.
All the ups and downs that we've had, all the fallouts that we've had over the way, just makes it more special to be here.
I feel happy that we've made it, but I feel sad that we're not going to be together. It's the end of the pilgrimage, but a new chapter. I'm not embarrassed being open about being a Christian. I can shout it from the rooftops and nobody should judge us for that.
I'm going to miss you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
High five on that.
Nick's just glad he's alive.
It's not for me to feel proud about what we've achieved. Look what he achieved, Columba. He should be looking down, nodding and saying, yep, still working.